Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and welcome to another Wednesday. So this is the night at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time that we do the 1 in 10 by Jen, and that just basically means I have 10 minutes to create a card using whatever's in the envelope, and today our envelope is from Tammy Sexton. So Tammy, thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this. If you'd like to be a part of this and you're new to my group, you want to just make sure you go and check us out at Quality Crafts on the Facebook, because that's where the cancellations and the changes and anything that's coming up and that's new and whatever is going to be posted. Whenever you think of Quality Crafts, think qualitycrafts.com. That way, if you're looking for anything, you will be able to find it there. There should be a link to my Patreon, to the blog, to, where else? I can't remember. Oh yeah, all the Amazon stuff is on there, and everything basically that you can get to, as well as a link to get here to my channel. So if you forget anything, qualitycrafts.com, that's where you want to land. I just want to let you know that I am going to do a nothing fancy, just quick like tutorial type deal at the end here, explaining the difference between alcohol inks and alcohol markers. I'm trying like crazy to get some alcohol markers into the store, whether that be Copics or another brand, so that you guys have some markers to choose from that you can get from Quality Crafts. So we got a lot of people jumping in and joining us too. The envelope can be used too, Joy said. Alright, I already have my timer right here set for 10 minutes. Excuse me. So I'm going to give that a go as soon as we open up and see what we have to work with today. Yeah, the envelope is super cute today, so it would be totally worth it to use it. It's very, very well taped shut. Alrighty, let me move this over to the side. We've got a little 1 in 10 supplies for Jen. That's super cute. There's a little card in there, so I'm going to open that up and check it out. Wow, that tape you used is incredible. Oh, cute. Look at this. Listen to your heart. That's adorable. Aw, Tammy, that's so sweet. When I write from the heart, and so I don't like sharing that with people, and when people write to me from the heart, I just like to keep that right here. So let's open this up and see, because already I'm like just dying. Just look at all the fun stuff in here. Look at all the fun, cool stuff. This is going to be a hard choice, picking out what I want to use and what I don't want to use and all that. I love these. I didn't get a chance to keep any of those. We sold those in a little while back, I'm pretty sure. Oh, sentiments. She knows me well. I'm terrible. Oh, and she even embossed them. How cool is that? Some red. What is this? Is this sticker? Ooh. Is that vinyl? I don't know what that is. That is really cool. Look at these papers. This is really going to be tough. There is so much fun stuff in here. Look at these. Some little red bows, some more butterflies, reds, greens. Ooh, and some floral paper. I am going to have a tough time like figuring out what I want to do with these. Let me scoot this out of the way. I'm thinking, since we've got white in here, true white, I'm going to go with a white card base. So let me cut one of those. A lot of stuff in here, you guys. Like, the next sale is going to be phenomenal. So here's our card base. Let's go ahead and turn this back on. 10 minutes. Sandy Swanson, you remembered! Woohoo! And here we go. I really love this stuff. This is so cool. And I think the red would look phenomenal with that. Possibly this one too. I'm going to go ahead and cut this somewhat. Okay, so I'm going to have a couple of strips over here. I'm not even going to make sure that they're exact. Just going to cut a few. And I don't know if I'm going to use that yet or not. I may. I just may. But this for sure would look really cool on here. I hope I don't run out of tape again. But if I do, I do. This is really fun stuff. Cut off the excess. So if you're just coming in or you missed the very beginning or you're new, normally I just do this one, the 10-minute card here, and then I'm done. But today, because somebody asked me, or made a comment I should say, in one of my questions in the group on Facebook, Quality Crafts, said something about alcohol markers, and I believe she said something about alcohol inks, so I want to make sure that I address that in this video. So when I'm done here, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the difference between alcohol inks versus alcohol markers. Alright, and then usually what I do is I put a little bit of the same thing on the inside. So let's go ahead and put a little bit on the bottom there. Make a quick cut. This is such pretty stuff. Alrighty, we want to make sure we put a little bit of that red across there. So classy. I just think this looks really pretty. I'm not going to add a lot to this, I don't think. And I would really love to use all this other stuff, but dang. Look how pretty that is. It's just so cool. And I want to... Where's that other stuff that we had? Yeah, this. That's so cool. You just... I don't know. She just made paper. I feel like I should die cut this somehow. That would be cool. Because we've got a black there. I wonder if I could just cut a circle here. Let's try it. I don't know how big the circle, but let's try this one. That would work. And then white. That would be cool. Let's see if we can get this off of here now that I cut it. This was sticker material. I peeled it off in the beginning. And now I can't seem to get it to peel. There we go. I wanted to bend the edge to get it, but I didn't want to bend it so much that it would be able to see that. And then this one we'll just glue on. And pop that up. That looks good. Beauty comes in everyday things, or a beautiful friendship enriches the soul. I love this. Let's go with this. I'm just going to take a chance and cut this, eyeball it. Love whatever this is that you have this on. This paper, super thick cardstock, is awesome. And I could put that like right there. That'd be so cool. And we've got these little bows. We gotta use those. So cute. Should have just went for it and did 2 cards today. Oh, that's so pretty. I wonder if we should put a little bit on the inside too. Then I'd have to change my, where did I put that little guy? I don't know if I'll get enough time to add all this. But let's just go ahead and kind of copy this. That was a 1 3/8, so I could do a 1. I should be able to get that on there. Whoop, don't cover up the timer. You know what, and I think I'm just going to let, since we don't have anything to put on there, we'll go ahead and glue this one down. I have an idea though. Couldn't we put a heart in there? I think we could. Like that, yeah, that heart. And we're done! Check it out. So very cool. And then when you go on the inside, it's got the same pattern. That's really cool. I love this. Love, love, love it. Tammy, you sent enough stuff for me to make tons and tons of cards, and I loved it all, but I went super classy with the blacks and the reds that you sent because that's what struck me today. So this will all be kept. I think I'm going to put it right back in your envelope. Let me move out all the little bitty stuff that I cut off. We don't want to save those. And then for those of you guys who are normally around, I usually end here. But today I just want to quickly go over the difference between an alcohol ink and an alcohol marker. And the difference between the two of them, what you use them for. So the cool thing about this, if you join in and do one of these scrappy envelope things for the 1 in 10, I will stamp my information on the back here and I will mail that back to you. So I don't keep these cards. I create with your scraps, give you some ideas and, you know, just some inspiration on what you can do with the things. Like maybe she was stuck on what to do with these. I don't know. You can feel free to send me whatever you want, and then I will make a card out of it and send it back to you. That is what I feel is the cool part about this. So I'm just going to do a little cleanup here, and then I'm going to get it. Oh, and I got some more of that paper too, so I'm definitely going to save that. I'm going to put my punches away, and I am going to pull out a couple of alcohol inks and a couple of alcohol markers and just chat with you guys for a little bit. So if you have to go, thanks for coming, and if you want to stick around, I invite you to stay. So the scraps go on a pile for another day. I don't throw them out. This is the card we made. I'll leave that out. And let me just quickly put my punches away. All right. And I'll move this guy out of the way too. Let me just shut it down so that it's not burning battery. Connie Johnson, thanks so much for your exuberance. I love that. Great question. What's the difference, Jen? So here's the difference. These are alcohol inks. You can buy them separately or you can buy them in these 3 packs and they come in these little bottles. Okay, that's an alcohol ink. Here are a couple of them that are not in the package anymore. These come from Ranger or Tim Holtz, and they are eggplant and butterscotch. And I'm just going to set those there for a minute. And then the other thing is that we've got alcohol markers. I'm going to pull out, and you know what? I don't have any Copics anymore, and nope, I do have some right off to my left. Okay, so here's a couple of different alcohol markers. And they're all just going to be random colors. These are the Ranger brand. Yep. So here's some regular 110-pound cardstock by Nina. Nina Index, Exact Index 110-pound cardstock, in case you're wondering. This is an off-brand. This would be one of the least expensive alcohol markers you could get. And it's got a little nib. Like we call that a bullet nib. And then it's got a chisel end. Okay, so the chisel end will allow you to cover big spaces. And the little nib end will allow you to get into all the little detailed spots. Okay. That's an off-brand marker. These are made, all of these types of alcohol markers. This is a Copic sketch. This one also has a chisel end. But then on the other end it has a brush end. So you can flick and get some really nice flicking motions. You can cover large spaces if you want. And then you could also use the chisel end to color in. Or you can get little teeny tiny dots and little spaces with the brush end as well. Okay. And then we have another type of alcohol marker that's called a Spectrum Noir. This is another brand. It's also an alcohol marker. Right? And this one has, just like the other one, a bullet nib on one end. And a chisel end on the other end. So the chisel end will allow you to color a whole large space. Bye-bye! And then you can also get really thin grass-like flicks out of these as well, and teeny tiny spots. I didn't show that with the very first one, but it's the exact same thing. You can flick these as well if you're looking to get those really fine hair-like flicks. Alright, so let me get out my black marker here. There we go. This would be helpful. So this first one was an Ohuhu brand. The second one was Copic. And the third one was Spectrum Noir. Now, this one is going to be the least expensive. The Copic is going to be the most expensive. And the Spectrum Noir is somewhere in the middle. So if you're looking at costs for getting started, it's way cheaper to start with this brand. The Spectrum Noir are kind of in the middle, and the Copics are the most expensive. If you haven't already heard of them, that's a little bit of a rundown. Now, these are used for coloring images. And I looked for my box of images before I sat down, and I couldn't find them anywhere. Let me see if I can get the... Yeah, no. I was going to show you a whole bunch of images that you could color. But I'm talking about any kind of images, like if you have digital images, like we call them digis. Basically, it's just a digital image that someone has drawn, and you can purchase them online. Some places you can get them for free. And then somebody just asked me a question, so that's why I'm a little... I'll get to yours in just your questions in just a second. So you can stamp and color those. It's whatever image you want. It doesn't matter what you're coloring, but these are actually for coloring them in. So say we had, let's just do a really simple heart. So we've got a simple heart and we want to color that in. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of, let me just grab a couple of these DGs. These are labeled with letters and numbers, DG1, DG2, DG3. And I'm going to start with a light one. And I'm going to basically color it in. A DG2, which is a little bit darker. So maybe I want to have like just a little bit of a shadow kind of coming from the top. And then the third one is a lot darker. So that's going to go more at the top, maybe a little bit coming up from the bottom. And then you just keep going back and forth and blending them out together. You can go over them. There's a lot of different tutorials out there to show you how to use these. There's no right or wrong way. You just do them the way you want to. And so I'm just going over and over these with the darker and then the lighter and then blending them all together. You can get some really cool looks. But basically, that's a really quick kind of a blend out. It's not a perfect blend out, but you can take your time and blend it as smoothly or as beautifully as you want. And let me tell you, no matter what marker you choose, it is going to take some time for you to get used to it. Pick the one that you want to use, learn on it, and then get really good at it. Basically what I did was I learned on the Spectrum Noirs, and the Spectrum Noirs have the same exact tips as the cheaper Ohuhu and other brands, and so I stick with these. Copics are a little bit more expensive, but some people really like the brush nib, and I haven't really used them. I'm not practiced at it, so I have a difficulty sometimes using that brush nib just because I'm not used to it. So let me put some of those back. The alcohol ink, on the other hand, okay, the alcohol inks are not markers. They're not meant to be used to color images. They're meant to be used as an art form, like to just create cool backgrounds and stuff like that. If you want to know more about these, today is not the day. Basically, you would have to go and I'm going to pull out some special paper. You can use the back side of photo paper if you don't have special UPO paper or anything like that. But these are meant to spread and just do fun things on like slippery paper or plastics. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops on here. We're going to watch what happens to it. So let me just get to a couple of the questions that we have here. I don't know how these two colors are going to blend because I just grabbed them all arbitrarily. The only problem I have with the Ohuhu markers is that I'm afraid the names and numbers are going to come off. Any suggestions? If you're afraid that they're going to come off, you can always do a template of the colors, and then you could wrap, you could take a piece of plastic tape, like this kind of tape, or even Scotch tape, and Scotch tape a little swatch around your marker so that you don't forget what color it is if you're afraid that this is going to rub off. Okay, that was one question. Do they always have to be stored on their sides? I store mine on my sides. Anything that has a double end where the ink has to go both ways, it makes sense to store them on their side so that that ink has a chance to go both ways. If you store them straight up, it won't really damage it. But then if you want to go ahead and use the part that's on the top and you tip it over to use it, that ink's going to take a long time to come back down that barrel to get back in that tip. You'll think it's dried out and maybe chuck it. I don't know. Copics do come with, let me pull my Copic here. Copics do come with refills. I mean, you buy the refills. The Ohuhus do not, and the Spectrum Noirs supposedly do, but we haven't really found a spot. Did I pick the wrong paper? I did. My bad. I just have a whole bunch of paper in here and I picked the wrong kind. Let me go ahead and use a piece of acetate to show you a little bit more clearly what this will do. Like I said, I didn't prepare for this. I just thought I would talk about it a little bit because it came up in Quality Crafts. So did I answer? I hope that answers your question. If not, please rephrase and I'll try to do my best. Let me just go ahead and drop some of these on this acetate so we can see them move. Has anyone tried painting over the Ohuhu lettering number with clear fingernail polish? I have a feeling that if you're worried about things wearing off, that the fingernail polish would wear off just as well, just as easily. So if I move these around, they're going to run and dry. They're alcohol ink, so they're going to dry quicker than maybe a regular ink would. You can also blow these with straws. There's all kinds of fun things you can do with this stuff. Let me get a white background so you can see this a little clearer. Alrighty, so it just depends on what colors you use. Now those two ran together and kind of made a purpley brown. You can add a whole bunch other inks and stuff. So alcohol inks, it's just the ink in a bottle. You dump it on backgrounds. You can put it on pieces of felt. Do I have any felt laying around? I don't know where all my felts went. I had a pile of them. Let's try this. You could put it on felt on here. One of these. And then pounce it. This isn't really my... This is not my felt, but let's just pounce it anyways. Pounce it and get different looks. My alcohol ink's going to stain my pad probably. Alright. And then anytime you want to get rid of it, you can always just spray regular alcohol on it if you're using a slick surface. And it'll make a different kind of a look, as it were, if you let it dry. Okay, you're going to get all kinds of mottled fun looks. But if you say, oh, I don't really like that, you can actually just clean it right off and start again. So you never have to be married to whatever project that you've done. If you use the acetate and the Yupo paper, it can come right back off. So that's what alcohol inks do. They make backgrounds. Let me try to get this off my mat while I'm yakking. And alcohol markers are for coloring in images. Stamped images, digital images, drawn images, coloring books, adult coloring books, whatever you may have. They're for coloring, literally coloring. So every now and again we will have alcohol inks in the store. Right now I don't have any, and I'm hoping to get in some Copics like these, and I will be soon getting in some a different brand like this. It won't be the actual Ohuhu brand, but it'll be almost exactly like these, and I have a whole bunch above my desk. If you are a Patreon, you've probably seen the behind the scenes footage of some of this stuff, so you've probably seen some of the stuff that I have in here. If you're not, I invite you to join us on Patreon and pledge to support our community here. We'd love to have you. And I'm going to end here. So normally I don't do like an extended something like this, but I just felt like this should be addressed since we will be starting to carry some of this stuff in the store. Remember, qualitycrafts.com. That's where you can find us. It'll lead us to the Patreon. It'll lead us to the Amazon links because I affiliate through them. It'll lead you to the blog. You're going to want to check that out. There's a lot of really cool things coming out in there. And the next time I will see you is Friday night for Friday Free Play. If you are a Patreon already, you'll be able to get in on the pre-sale right after that live from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then jump on over to our private group because the pre-sale will not be on YouTube. It will be in the Patreon private group. If you want to be a part of that pre-sale and all the pre-sales to come up, join us on Patreon, make your best pledge, and then I will get you added to that group. The other thing is that they will also lead you to the blog, and what else did I miss? Of course, all of our products are on there, and I think that's it. Was I running anywhere else with that? So the difference between alcohol inks and alcohol markers. Thank you, Kathy Godwin. She said the card turned out great. Great chat. Thanks, Jen. Penny and Susan, you're all the best. Yes, thank you guys. Always, always love the people who are helping us out when they're in here and they have the little blue icon. That means they're a moderator, so we always want to give them big hearts. I will see you Friday, and I can't wait to see you guys next video.